Hi.
Everyone, it is 7 p.m., so I will call this meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission Wednesday, June 25th, 2025 to order. And I will start with the land acknowledgement. The City of Albany recognizes that we occupy the land originally protected by the Confederated Villages of Lishan. We acknowledge the genocide that took place on these lands and must make strides to repay the moral debt that is owed to this indigenous people, specifically the Ohlone tribe. We thank them for their contributions, which have transformed our community and will continue to bring forth growth and unity. The City of Albany commits to sustaining ongoing relationships with the tribe and together build a better future for all that now make this their home. And with that, we can move to the roll call.
Yes, Commissioner Moman is absent today. Commissioner Pearson. Here. Commissioner Pilch may be coming late, so we'll announce him if he comes in. And Commissioner Waddy. Here. And Chair McLeod.
Here. With that, we'll move on to item 2, ex parte communications. I've had none. Any others? No, seeing none. We will move on to item 3, consent calendar. It is just the approval of minutes. And if any commissioner wishes to pull that item from the consent calendar, or any member of the public, now is the time to request that. Seeing no commissioner requests, any public requests to pull that item from the consent calendar?
If you wish to speak or talk about the consent calendar, please use the raise the hand icon. No.
Okay, so we will move on to the consent calendar. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar as written. I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar as written.
Second?
I believe I need to be recused since I was not in attendance that day.
Okay.
Oh, no, I can vote? Okay, I'm happy to vote since there's 3 of us.
Okay, well, okay, then we'll go to a vote. Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner Waddy?
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so that approval of the minutes passes 3-0. Item 4, public comments. For persons desiring to address the commission on an item that is not on the agenda, please note that we limit each speaker to 3 minutes. And this also, the Brown Act applies and limits the commission's ability to take and or discuss items that are not on the agenda. So there's no one here in the room to speak, so if there's anyone online who wishes to speak for the good of the city, public comments, please raise your hand.
Yes, please use the raise the hand icon. And no one wishes to speak on an item not on the agenda.
Not on the agenda, right. So we'll close item 4, public comments, and move on to item 5-1, planning application PA 25-012, 633 Carmel Avenue, design review to request to construct a 693 square foot second story addition. And we have a presentation.
Yes, we do, Chair. Good evening, commissioners and members of the public. Let me share my screen, and then we will go from there. Okay, here. So, hello, commissioners again, members of the public. My name is Mira Han, Associate Planner with the City. Tonight, I'm here to present a design review application, PA 25-019, 633 Carmel Avenue. I apologize that it wasn't a use permit, it's design review, just only design review. All right, so the subject lot is located on the east side of Carmel Avenue, across the street from Albany Memorial Park, between Thousand Oaks Boulevard to the north and Portland Avenue to the south. The lot is developed with an 1,800 square foot, approximately 1,800 square foot, 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, split-level home constructed in 1934. So you can see the front on the upper right corner, and then the house in context. You can see the picture is a little blurry. It's from Google Earth, but you can see that there's the second level is receded to the back. All right, so this is the site plan and the project scope. The existing main level has, like you can see here, I included existing and proposed section drawings. So let me see if I can have my laser pointer here. So yeah, that's the existing section drawing and then the proposed. So I included these to illustrate the changes. So as you can see, the existing main level has interior stairs towards the rear. This is the rear, okay, which lead to a 365 square foot upper level and the 361 square foot basement. So separately on that, if you see the site plan, the lot also has a detached 345 square foot one-car garage. So they're not, it's not part of the scope of work, but in the future they plan to convert this into an ADU. So the project proposes to construct a new 693 square foot second story, so it's in blue, towards the rear of the residence. So interior changes required for this include raising the floor of the existing basement. You can see here, you raise that floor to extend the main level. So they're enlarging the main level and demolishing a portion of the existing upper level to construct a new addition. Exterior changes include a new 75 square foot rear porch with a trellis connecting the lower level here to the rear yard. All right. Okay, so these are the proposed elevations. So you can see that the new second story would be recessed approximately 27 feet from the existing front facade and 0.6 inches from the existing left north wall. The addition would be constructed, which is, I should mention that the reason of that small recess on the left front wall is to meet setback requirements. So that's how they avoided a use permit. The addition would be constructed with a very similar pitch gable roof that closely matches the slope of the roof at the existing upper level. The new roof at the addition includes a skylight providing natural light to the stairs and hallway, and the project would result in a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,100 square foot, approximately 2-story residence with a 20-foot maximum height at the addition. So as I said, the property owners plan to demolish the detached garage in the future and then construct an ADU. That's not part of the scope of the design review project. So the proposed materials and colors include painted stucco walls to match, composition shingle roof, fiberglass clad windows, wood trellis, trim, and casings. The project features a design color palette and materials to match and complement the existing residence. So I included this slide as the architect provided this illustration. What I did is I juxtaposed the floor plan and the drawing he provided to show the proposed windows on the closest side to the neighbor and how the proposed windows are not aligned with the windows at the neighboring property. So yeah, again, the windows on the left north side are positioned in a way to avoid direct views to neighbors' windows. In addition, the distance between the addition and neighboring properties to the south and rear would not create a significant impact on privacy. So with that, staff has not received any correspondence regarding this project proposal, and staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission review and approve the proposed project subject to the findings and standard conditions of approval.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Does anyone have any questions for staff? No? Or yes?
Sorry, one question. So can you just confirm that the front roof is going to remain clay tile, but then the new addition is going to have shingle roof?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
And the applicant is online if you also have questions for them.
Anyone have questions for the applicant? I do. Could you pull up the elevations again, please? Yeah, that looks fine. Yeah. So is the applicant online?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, thank you.
Great.
Are you the architect or owner?
I'm the architect.
Yeah, hi. My question is really, why is the attic space so tall, and why is the roof kind of so high compared to the interior space? And also,
You know,
I mean, to me, the
yeah, go
windows
ahead.
also look kind of low in relationship to the interior space, which also kind of accentuates the height of the attic space and the whole wall area above it.
So the project first started with kind of a steeper roof pitch, but staff has asked us to reduce the slope of the pitch. So we've done that. The attic, we're trying to find a good balance for storage. These really small lots have very confined floor area ratio requirements. And so this allows them to have a little bit of storage up in the attic and also house mechanical equipment up there.
That makes sense. So mechanical equipment would be like an air handler or,
Yep, air handler and possibly like an on-demand water heater.
right, because I didn't see any water heater on the plans. And then would this project be all electric?
I think the stuff that we're adding, well, the on-demand hot water heater would not be electric. There's just not an efficient model for that, so that will still be gas. The mechanical equipment will be electric. It'll be a heat pump system.
Okay. Well, that's my only real question. I guess I understand the motivation for the height of the attic space, but then I find, well, okay, maybe we should, that's enough. We'll close questions. And if there's anything else you want to add to inform us about the project?
Not really. I mean, we've come up with this design just to get more space for the residents, more storage space, and have tried to work with staff to create something that would be approved for this meeting.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll close comment and any public comment on this online. There's no one here in the room,
Yeah.
so it's only,
If you wish to speak on this item, please use the raise the hand icon. Nope.
okay, so we'll close public comment and move on to commissioner discussion. And I guess I would just lead it off by saying I find the roof just kind of, the height of it kind of out of proportion with the rest of the house visually, and you know, especially if that's kind of monolithic stucco, I think that's going to look kind of really awkward and boxy. You know, so I understand the idea of storage. So either the roof, for me visually, either the roof would be lowered or you need to do different kind of wall treatments, surface treatments, either change materials at the top. And I would certainly raise the windows higher so it's not quite the appearance of this big wall space above the windows. So I don't know what other commissioners think, but I mean, otherwise I think the project's fine. I think it's great, you know, making good use of the floor space and the outdoor space, linking it, et cetera. I mean, my only concern is just the way that looks visually and looks way out of proportion to me.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but I see what you're talking about. So I can understand. There's another house, I think it's on Washington or Portland, that has a really high third story. And it does, I see how this could look like that as well. Do we know what the ceiling height is in the attic? Did you see that?
Well, it's those dashed lines at the top above the windows, those horizontal lines represent the interior ceiling space. So there's a pretty big space above it. And I do understand the desire for storage, but I don't know, just, I mean, especially when you look at the height of the west, just the front elevation, it looks kind of way too tall compared to the existing house even. I think it's accentuated by the windows being pretty low in the space. If the windows were pushed higher, I think that would help. And then often, you know, when we're trying to reduce the visual kind of verticality of something, you put in something horizontal around the eaves or some different material treatment. So I would recommend something like that. I don't know. Commissioner Waddy, any thoughts? Or?
And maybe this is actually, I'm realizing I now do have a quick question for staff. Is the project right now maxed out on their FAR as proposed?
I'll check the staff report.
Sorry, I could look that up.
I saw that it was a 49% with a max of 50.
Yeah, it's pretty close to 0.55, so yeah, it is like 0.01.
And if the addition, just sort of going to this point, if the addition expanded forward sort of in plan view, like horizontally, to capture, you know, a hallway for storage or something like that, would that count against the FAR if it was like a closet? So long as there's proper head height, it would count against the FAR. Is that part of the issue? So at a attic level, because there's not full head height, it does not count, but if it was on the floor plan, it would.
That's correct.
Yeah, I mean, similarly, I'm very conscientious about storage. I get it, Albany houses, tons of storage constraints. But I also I do agree with you, it does feel a little bit top-heavy right now. You know, at a similar level, I have no concerns about a second-story addition here. Both of the adjacent buildings have additions. One is sort of setback with a large setback. The other neighbor, it's a lot shallower of a setback. So to me, it's the overall massing isn't actually the issue. And at some level, I would be fine with even the addition being closer to the street. So to me, it's less of that visibility from the street and the overall size, but it does feel like proportionately a little bit top heavy. And I think it's just not helped by the fact that the existing building is a fairly short one-story building without, you know, much of a sort of basement or sort of roof height. It is the sort of like tight form. So I would similarly be supportive of that, you know, dropping down, or if there's some way that they have, you know, a little bit of square footage to remain. I don't know if it's enough to be any kind of significant, you know, storage capacity for them, but I would also be open for them utilizing every last square foot of their FAR to be able to, you know, expand horizontally or whatnot to be able to accommodate any kind of storage space. So those are sort of my additional thoughts as well.
Mm-hmm.
The front facade has those two beautiful big windows on the original home, and the fact that the addition has these tiny square windows sort of differentiates between the two. If the windows on the addition were larger, that like changed the aesthetic somewhat, or if they were rounded instead of being square to sort of draw the eye upwards.
And maybe one other suggestion here, and again, I'm not always a big fan of sort of design by committee on the fly here, but I do think it's more about like the proportion from the street, and you know, maybe if the roof form was, you know, more of like a shed roof form but dropped lower at the front, so you'd sort of that proportion that you see in terms of when you're looking at the front facade to the addition drops down a little bit. I have less of a concern if it rises taller in the back, and maybe that's a way for them to get some storage space in the attic, you know, at the back half of the addition, rather than it being sort of through a traditional gabled roof form.
Well, I could see the upper roof, the pitch being a little lower or a little steeper to match the front gable there on the south elevation. It looks like a steeper pitch. I mean, we could lower the pitch a bit, reduce the front elevation height, and the back, and still have a pretty high, I don't know, it looks like it's a 5 or 6 foot space in the middle going up. So Pardon?
I'm seeing on the staff report now, it's a 0.5 square foot wiggle room. So that's really nothing. Okay.
Not much. I mean, you do get the trade-off. They're losing their storage basement, and they want to replace that with the attic storage. So, you know, I could see maybe lowering the roof pitch to match the front gable on the south elevation, and then doing some sort of treatment on the wall to break up the massing a little bit, at least at the gable end. It could be a different material or some way to differentiate it. And I would also just raise the windows higher up so it proportionally doesn't look like the windows are right in the middle of the wall, maybe more towards, you know, not 3/4 of the way up, but almost something like that. So I would support that as a solution. And I see, yes, Mira?
I have a question,
Okay.
Chair McLeod. So when you say that the roof pitch should be lowered to match the existing pitch, do you mean the pitch so that it looks the same height from the front as the existing roof, or do you mean the slope from the south elevation? Because these are actually very close. The thing is that this is longer, so it looks more massive, I guess, but, yeah.
Well, they should tell us what the slope is for each one. I mean, it's,
Let me pull up the.
I mean, the slope on the upper roof looks shallower than the slope on the smaller gable by the chimney there.
Right, okay, so the proposed slope, the second story is, let me see, 3 to 12, I'm sorry? Oh, yeah.
I think the architect,
Maybe
Could
the
tell us.
architect can, he has raised his hand.
let's ask the architect what the slopes are and see.
Number 2.
Can you hear me?
The old, I like to see this one.
Okay, so we actually did have exactly kind of what you had mentioned, which was kind of a steeper slope. The ridge stayed where it is, and then the eaves came down before. But we were asked to make it a little bit shallower, which is why we didn't want to lose that room in the center of the ridge. The front roof that you're asking about with the clay tiles, that's about a 4 and 12 pitch. And the current, the way that the upper level is drawn is at a 3 and 12 pitch, because we were asked to make it shallower.
Asked in, in consultation with staff.
Cecil, I have a comment. So on sheet A3.1, which shows the proposed exterior elevation on the north, the pitch reads as 312, whereas
Yes, 3
on
and
the
12.
next, right, but the next sheet, A32, shows it as 412. So
I think
there-
that notation just didn't get changed, because we had changed it to 4 and 12 before, but then we were asked to make it 3 and 12. I think it's actually drawn at 3 and 12. The notation just didn't get changed. on
It's
that one.
312?
Yeah.
Okay, so sheet A.
Because because I think you had we were looking at the existing in the back before, and you had said that roof, the existing roof of the on the back of the house was like a 2.5 and 12, and you asked us to try to get as close to that as possible.
Right. I just wanted to confirm if it was
It's
312
drawn as 3
or
and 12, which
412.
is why it looks shallower than the
Let me
front.
just finish, please. So the information on those sheets doesn't match, so I just wanted to confirm since I have you on the line, that's all.
Well, can I ask the applicant a question? I mean, the 4 and 12 pitch could work still for your storage space, correct?
Yes. Yeah, because we're mainly worried about or hoping to get that height at the ridge, which is right now like about a little bit less than 5 feet.
But if the gable dropped a little bit, it wouldn't impinge a whole lot on the storage space.
If the eaves at the lower end dropped a little bit, it would not impinge a lot.
Okay, well, all right. Okay, that helps a bit, I think.
Oh, and then one other thing is just so everybody understands this is set back quite a bit from the front.
Yeah.
And if you had stopped by to kind of take a look at the story poles that were up, you could kind of see that the angle from the street is very different than what you're looking at straight, smack on the paper too. You're kind of looking up at it.
Yeah, we understand how we deal with this every meeting, so we get it. Okay, all right. And then would you have any problem with raising the windows up in the wall? I mean, up higher towards the top of the room?
I think they're already at 7 feet for a head height. I could raise them up at some point though. For some of the egress windows, the bottom of the windows have to be within 44 inches of the floor.
Right.
We would then just be kind of making the windows taller.
Either make a taller window. Okay, all right. I think that answers my questions. So let's go back to, we're going to go back to commissioner discussion. Thank you. Thank you, Cecil. Well, I'd be happy to just say we changed the roof pitch to 4 and 12 at the second story addition and raise the windows up where feasible, or actually raise the windows up a bit, and if you need to make them taller for egress, make them taller.
Maybe just sort of a pivot on that. For the windows, would you just be open to having them be a little larger? Maybe rather than raising them up? Because to me, it's a little bit more of like the proportion relative to the windows at the front, right? They seem like really, and especially since they're set back so far, they're going to feel very sort of atypical. So maybe just making them larger and then giving the architect a little flexibility of how they get sited in the wall. But they just will have, like, it'll be a greater ratio of glazing.
Could I just mention that the current proposed slope is 3 and 12, so you're wanting a steeper slope?
Yes, 4 and 12. That would be my,
Be
So
more
we-
consistent with the front gable.
the ridge height is fine, and it would just lower the front wall a little bit,
Yeah.
height of the front wall and rear wall.
So keep the overall height, just,
Yes.
Drop it down.
Yes,
Thank you.
the current ridge height is fine, and then it just pivots down from there, about a foot maybe. I think that would help just visually, and then I'm fine with either making the windows bigger or raising them up, or in a way, both. Both could happen, but
With that, I'm happy to make a motion then to approve the project as proposed with a change to the addition's roof pitch, maintaining the ridge line, but dropping it down to a 4 and 12 slope, and increasing the size of the 4 street-facing windows on the addition to make those windows larger, increase the glazing.
and did you want to add treatment on the gable end, or no?
it's up to the person making the motion.
Maybe I will say encourage the applicant, but not required to consider incorporating some clay tile detailing along the eave line. That's my motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, and let's vote. Commissioner Wadi,
Aye.
Commissioner Pearson,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. So that project is approved 3-0. If there are story poles, so please leave them up. There's a 14-day appeal period, at which point they can come down once that's completed. So that item, planning application PA 25-012-633 Carmel Avenue, has been approved. We'll move on to item 5-2, planning application PA 25-021-820 Key Route Boulevard, use permit and design review request to demolish an existing rear deck and construct a first story rear addition. And we have a presentation by staff. Thank you.
Chair. So hello again, commissioners and members of the public. My name is Mira Han, Associate Planner with the city. I'm here to present use permit and design review application PA 25-012 at 820 Key Route Boulevard. So as you can see here, the subject lot is located on the west side of Key Route Boulevard between Washington Avenue to the north and Solano Street to the west. and abuts the Albany Bike Trail and BART tracks to the rear west. I'm sorry, Solano Street to the south. The lot is developed with an approximately 1,093 square foot, 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, single-family home constructed in 1925. So you can see here the photo from the front and also from the rear. And I should give a little bit more context. The property suffered some damage following a fire very recently. So part of the scope of work entails repairing some of those structures, the fire-damaged structures. All right, so I included here a little bit of the FAR diagram just to illustrate. So you can see in the light blue shaded area, that's the area of the addition. It's a first-story addition, but it also includes the area of an unpermitted 67.3 square foot laundry room. So that's the darker blue area. So they're demolishing that and kind of like rebuilding it, incorporating it into the addition, which is located at the right and rear northwest of the residence. The existing home has a non-conforming 2 foot 1 inch right north side yard setback, which is shown here in the red circle. And let me get my little laser here. All right. Where a minimum of 3 feet is required. As added context, so I already had said that it suffered some fire-related damage recently. The proposed project includes demolishing the fire-damaged rear deck and unpermitted laundry room, as I said, to construct a 314 square foot, 16 foot 5 inch tall single-story rear addition and a smaller 115 square foot lower level deck with stairs at the rear and right southwest right of the house. So that's the new deck. So it's going to be smaller than the one that it's replacing. The scope of work includes other interior and exterior changes and repairs, and a use permit is required to horizontally extend the existing non-conforming 2 foot 1 inch right north side yard setback. So the proposed addition retains the front facade and the existing height, which is around 21.7 inches at the front, like you can see here, and 16 feet and 5 inches at the rear, as you can see here. And extends the single-story home towards the rear. The plans feature a roof pitch, design elements, colors and materials to match, visually enhance and complement the existing residence. The project would result in a 1,340 square foot, 1-story, 4-bedroom and 1-bathroom residence. Proposed materials and colors include warm gray and off-white stucco walls, charcoal asphalt composition shingle roof, white windows to match. So the project is under 0.45 FAR and does not qualify as exceptional design. So the applicant reached out to staff, and because of financial considerations as well, they are proposing fiberglass windows for the windows that are visible from the street. However, for the rest of them, they would be vinyl. What else? And the applicant plans to repaint the whole house as part of the repairs and the whole project. So the proposed project will be in scale with nearby residences along Key Route Boulevard, and potential privacy concerns are minimized as most of the new windows on the left south face a neighboring house stucco wall with glass block windows. The rear windows are at a considerable distance from the rear property line, and no windows are proposed on the right north side. So staff has not received any questions or comments regarding this project proposal. And with that, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission review and approve the proposed project subject to the findings and standard conditions of approval.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for staff? I have none. Any questions for applicant? I have none. Let's move to public comment. Is there anyone online who would wish to speak on this item?
Please use the raise a hand icon if you'd like to speak on the item. No.
Okay, we'll close public comment, move on to commissioner discussion. I think the project's just fine the way it is, so if there's a motion, unless there's discussion.
I'm happy to just jump in and keep it efficient. Happy to make a motion to approve the project as proposed.
And I'll second it.
Okay, Commissioner Pearson,
Yes.
Commissioner Waddy,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well, so that item has been approved 3-0. There are no story polls up, correct? It's just single story. So there is a 14-day appeal period to keep in mind. Moving on to item 6, presentations. Staff, any presentations?
No presentations?
Item 7, any announcements?
I was pleased to read about Commissioner Waddy in the news. That's very exciting, and congratulations on your new duties, I guess. That sounds fun. So that was nice to read, so thank you. That's the only announcement I have.
Okay. Well, then we'll call this meeting adjourned.
Correct, and just a reminder, July 9th, we will not be having a meeting. We wouldn't have a quorum anyway, but so our next meeting is scheduled for July 23rd.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
And good evening, everyone.